I just want to say a big welcome to everyone, but especially to Kelly and Hannah, who have kindly agreed to do sharing and explaining how they achieve success in their dedication pages for their Christmas campaigns. So Hannah is from Young Lives versus Cancer, and Kelly is from Primrose Hospice. And we just want to share with you how using these campaigns to convey your messages can be a great way to engage with internal colleagues as well as external colleagues and people. So just introducing Hannah, she's head of internal communication and engagement at Young Lives versus Cancer. And there's a little bit about her there, but over to you then, Hannah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Jackie, and thank you for the invite to be here. I'm Hannah, and I'm going to talk today about how we've used Much Love from an internal comms point of view, and how it's really helped us to create moments of connection and recognition with our people, which is our fantastic team at Young Lives. So a little bit about us. Young Lives versus Cancer, we support families at what is often the most frightening and overwhelming time of their lives, when a child or young person is diagnosed with cancer. Our social workers are absolutely central to our mission, and they work directly with families in hospitals and communities across the UK, advocating for them, supporting them, helping them navigate incredibly complex systems at a time of crisis. So we have roughly, just over 400 paid colleagues, many more volunteers. But today I'm going to be focusing on the cohort that can actually see our intranet, which is generally our paid workforce. So our workforce is geographically dispersed across the UK. It's largely hybrid and made up of a wide range of roles, from our frontline social workers, which are roughly 50% of the organisation, to fundraising teams, finance, digital and corporate services. And most colleagues have access to a screen, so our organisation really does rely on digital channels for connection. And for us, feeling connected to each other as a team and being appreciated isn't just a nice to have, it really is fundamental to us sustaining our people and in fact our culture. So as a sort of internal communications role, it looks quite different in lots of different organisations, but for us it really is about designing experiences, not just broadcasting information. So we're always thinking about, how do people feel, how do they experience being part of this organisation, and how do our values show up in everyday moments. So we're really also really conscious of people's time, digital fatigue and cognitive load, particularly for our frontline colleagues. So we're constantly looking for ways and tools and approaches that are really simple to use, really inclusive, and have emotional resonance. So this is what we really love about Much Loved. When we were sort of looking for a platform for a recognition idea that we had, what we really loved about it was that there was very little need for explanation. It's so simple to use. You could opt for anonymity, which is a real strength for us because we feel that lowers barriers and creates psychological safety. Basically, people don't have to overthink what they're going to write, they can just write from the heart. It's also open to everybody, regardless of their role, seniority, and it's more sort of how we use it internally. It's more emotion-led rather than performance-led. So it's not about KPIs or outputs or anything like that. It's just about appreciation and recognition. And so the first case use that we used it for is our intranet Secret Santa. It's become, we've run it, I think, for 2 or 3 years now, but it's become one of our most loved features in our internal communications calendar. So each year we invite the whole workforce to leave an anonymous message celebrating or thanking another colleague. So there's no nomination form, no manager approval, no restrictions. You just simply just a simple invitation to say thank you and celebrate somebody from a different team or a whole different team. And last year we received over 270 dedications, which was an increase of 30 from the previous year. And for us, that's a really significant level of engagement. And what was really lovely about it was the breadth of messages. There was messages between peers, across teams, across functions, and sometimes from people who'd never met in person, but were kind of sharing the love, if you like, across through the messaging, which was great to see. And the volume of messages was really impressive, but also just the general tone of the messaging was great. There was warmth, humour, gratitude, and highlighting work that often goes very unseen. We really big off our social workers, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But sometimes for those people in roles that are behind the scenes, it's a really nice opportunity to sort of shine the light on them a bit as well and appreciate their contribution to the organisation. Then our second use case is to celebrate World Social Work Day. So we wanted to mark the day in a way that went beyond the sort of top-down thank you. Our CEO is fantastic and always will. We always mark this day in our organisation. She sends thank you cards to our social workers, but we wanted something that involved the whole workforce to appreciate our social work team. And so this year we received over 46 dedications for this one, specifically recognising our social workers. And it really gave an opportunity for the people that do work behind the scenes that aren't on the front lines to show their appreciation and support to our frontline team. And that was really positive. And they sent great messages, whole team recognition and lots of love. So generally, I think what we really love about using Much Loved internally is the fact that it does create those emotionally sticky moments, the kind that generally shape how people feel about where they work. And what we really love about it is that, like lots of organisations, we are a very lean team in internal comms, but this is one of those products that has really high impact for low effort. Once it's set up, it really does run itself. Obviously, we monitor it and do the normal sort of due diligence stuff, but it really is so straightforward, so simple, and people really, we've found in our experience, people really engage very well with it. So yeah, it's a great tool that we've got in our internal comms calendar, and we love it. So thanks very much, Jackie.
Thank you so much, Hannah. That is absolutely brilliant. And it's great to know that we can really have some sort of help internally. It's not always about your supporters to your charity, but really recognising how much you need to all pull together internally as well. So I'm now going to hand you over to introduce you to Kelly from Primrose Hospice. Kelly is the fundraiser there, and she's just going to go through about an external campaign she did, the Lights of Love, her Christmas campaign. So over to you, Kelly.
Oh, hello. Right. Oh, hello. Can everybody see my slides? Because it seems to have reverted to
Jackie, you've gone back. Let's go back to slide one. I think you have to go through them, Kelly, maybe.
Okay, I'll whiz through quick.
Yeah, thank you.
Hold on, let's find.
Right, bear with me. Here we go, nearly there. Oh, no, I can't go on to the next one now.
I'll do it.
Okay. Sorry, folks.
That's okay. Have you got control now, Kelly? No, I'll take it back. That's fine. Hold on. Let me just whip through these slides again.
Oh, sorry, folks.
No, don't worry. It gives everybody a nice chance to see Young Lives versus Cancer's branding again. So, result. So there we go, Kelly.
Okay.
I'll do it for you. Yeah.
Oh no, every time I take control, it goes straight back. But anyway, we'll carry on. So I'm Kelly. I'm a fundraiser at the Primrose Hospice. Lights of Love is our external Christmas campaign. It has been the charity's longest running campaign. So if I can have the next slide, please. That working?
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Okay. So we're a very small day hospice based in Worcestershire. We are cover Bromsgrove and Redditch predominantly, Redditch of Harry Styles fame. We only support about 1,000 people a year. We're a typical day hospice with have the slides, are the slides moving on? No?
Can you see that one now?
Can everybody see that one? With Mel? Ah, lovely, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, not that anybody knows who Mel is, that's our lovely nurse on the right. Okay.
Good, yeah. Technology, yeah, we're there.
Lovely. So, yeah, we're a small hospice and typical day hospice with outpatient, sorry, and the support services. So, next slide, please. Lights of Love is 29 years old. She's only 9 years younger than the hospice itself. So she's an old girl. So if I could have the next slide. The next slide is our 2018 display. So the dedications are displayed around the Christmas trees, and that has been the focus of the campaign for many years. So the next slide, that's our most recent display, our 2025 display from last year from Bromsgrove. So our next slide is going to show you the marketing that we conducted for this campaign. I just want to mention at this point, we are struggling to get to the 4,000 supporter mark. And I think that's going to be something that is an issue in future years. I think that's why, and I'll come back to this, but the Much Love platform is going to be so much so important to us in the future. If I can have the next slide, please. So every single donor gets a personalised card, their tribute around the Christmas tree and their tribute on Much Loved. So on the next slide, we've averaged about 33,000 for this campaign. That's been the average for about the last 10 years. So she's a long-standing campaign. I always refer to them as she's sorry, but yeah, and she's a stalwart campaign for the Primrose Hospice. So this is a bit of a snapshot of the most important bits about the campaign. The expenditure is the majority, the DM, and the corporate sponsorship is the headline sponsor, but also local companies sponsor each board and can dedicate those boards in people's memories. So next slide is a snapshot of why we're here. So that's the Much Love page. And then if we go on to the next one, I'd like you to, there we go, there's our banner at the top there. So we invested in paying for a bespoke banner. We thought this was really important because it added credibility to this page. So this page doesn't look like it's a third party provider. If you've seen any of our marketing, you'll really easily recognise this as part of the campaign, and I think that lends trust to the page. I don't know, Jackie, if you want to just pause it at some point, otherwise we'll just keep going through those lovely messages. Okay, so this is just a quick snapshot. So it has been a very manual campaign in the past. So all these names come through, they all have to be transferred to the boards. So we are very aware that as a 29-year-old campaign, with our longest standing supporters, so one of our supporters has been donating for 18 years consecutively. It's also our gateway campaign. It can be the first contact they've had with the hospice. So it's important to us that we get this right. I don't mind if you go on to the next slide, Jackie. But it's in a transitional period. We're very proud of the 14% response rate that we get to the DM, and it does still currently represent 1/3 of the income. We were very excited last year. Our digital income, so payments made directly on Much Loved, they equal checks for the first time. So our finance team were very happy with that one. But the time of processing all of those payments are very costly for us at a time in the office where we're running 3 of our largest campaigns consecutively. So we really do think that the Much Loved page is our gateway into that transitional period, away from like an analog campaign into a digital campaign. Also for us, with the response to the DM, it's very difficult to capture all of that really important information for us, such as the gift aid and the marketing preferences. So that's really all easily encapsulated in the responses to the Much Loved page. When I first started, we did dabble more in physical rewards, providing more events, etc. But we went back, did a bit of research, listened to our community, and we realised that for the older supporters of this campaign, it was a local campaign that transcended the hospice, as it were. It was just something that you did every year. When you saw the Christmas tree up, you'd make your donation. But that was very much for the older supporters, as it were. So we're very focused now on having more digital rewards, because we believe that's the future of the campaign. So while we're retaining the cards for the existing supporters, we really feel like Much Loved isn't just a payment platform for us. It's a professional looking dedication page, and the ability to leave those lovely long messages and then add the photos, and more importantly share those photos, which will, we think, generate us more support and increased donations. So we've started integrating pictures of the Much Loved page into our physical marketing. So there's an amount of social media will be dedicated to just promoting the Much Loved page, and also we started doing social media ads, which is the first time we've done those, and we're hoping that if we can increase these digital payments on the Much Loved platform, it will also increase the return on investment for the campaign itself. So while the Christmas tree and the dedications around it will always be integral to the campaign, we really do feel like the Much Loved page is the digital equivalent, and it will be the future to the campaign. So we'll drag this analog campaign into its digital future, kicking and screaming. So that's it from me. So thank you very much, everybody.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Kelly. And that was really, really interesting to hear of all the aspects and how you're moving into the digital world, especially after, 29th year it's going to be. So that's also amazing as well. So that's really good. So, and that was really interesting. I hope you guys found that interesting too. So do pop any questions in that chat box for Hannah and Kelly, and they can they can answer in a minute. But I just want to give you some more sort of takeaways, if you like. I've called it a checklist, but it's just to make sure that, when you're planning your Christmas campaigns, which I know some of you have started now, and I did have to give myself a little check of where I was in the year, but yeah, no, we're definitely still in April. But, I just wanted to make sure that, your call to action, does your supporter know the purpose of the donation, or they're just sharing a story? Obviously with dedication pages, they don't have to make a donation, for like the internal campaign that Hannah successfully did with her colleagues. It had a completely different purpose. It was all about bringing those colleagues together across the board. make sure that your page complements the campaign it's supporting. Ensure that your messaging is single-minded and it does refer back to that campaign and the page. That's the beauty of these. You can tie them all in with your campaign itself. And if you do want a bespoke banner, they are £130 plus VAT for a bespoke banner, but often the return, so that you're all joined up and above the line and below the line is completely integrated, it's often worth it. Also, to bear in mind on your GDPR, which I know Kelly mentioned, for dedication pages, you can have bespoke GDPR questions for each page. So if you want to, I don't know, add in some wording on your GDPR, ask that it's to relate to the Christmas campaign, then you have that ability to do that as well. Always add a couple of dedications. I'll sometimes get queried about this, especially on a memory wall, that it's not a real dedication, it's not a real person. But sometimes if your supporter's the first to the page and they just see a blank page, it can be a little bit off-putting. They might not know what to do. Whereas if you can sort of show them with a couple of pictures and just a simple message, it absolutely says what it is on the tin. They know exactly what they're going to do. And also, the one thing to do when you've created your dedication pages, if we've not done you a bespoke one, is just make sure you test on the mobile. Often we see a lot of you've got lots to say about your campaign, but supporters just want to scroll through, and we don't want them scrolling for ages. Want it clear, simple messaging. Make sure that it's all pulling through on your mobiles, and then away you go. So it's really good. So really, as we've demonstrated with Hannah, these dedication pages don't have to be in memory. You can see here some of the examples we have on this slide here. Thank you, legacy walls, a pet competition. You charities are so creative. Really think outside the box. How can you tweak these to bring in those much needed one-off donations if it is a campaign about money, but also to have a bit of fun with them, internally, just like Young Lives versus Cancer did. What a brilliant idea. And also it makes your colleagues aware that you've got this platform as well that can do other things. It might even give them ideas, you never know. So shall we have a look at some questions and see if we can answer?
Yeah, there's just one little question, and that's for Kelly. Hannah's asked, can you tell me more on how the Lights of Love campaign works?
It's a simple dedication campaign, and people donate, and as a reward for that donation, they get their loved one's name displayed around the Christmas trees. We have 2 Christmas trees, one in Redditch and one in Bromsgrove. And that picture of the Christmas tree in the slideshow, that's the display, but that's like the physical display. So we are looking very much into Much Loved being the digital equivalent of that display in the future.
Perfect, thank you. And you run it at Christmas time?
Yes, yeah. So well, we organise it all year round. It goes live in October. And runs from October until first week in January, really, which is when the Christmas tree is taken down.
Okay, perfect. And Helen has asked if there is a threshold for the gift. So I think from Much Love's perspective.
Yeah, I think Much Loved, I think you have a £5 minimum, is that right?
We do,
yeah.
But with regards to physical, no. Our lowest donation is 50p. Perfect.
And very kindly, a couple of people have shared their banners. Samantha shared one of the templated designs which they've put together to celebrate their 45th birthday at the hospice, and Melanie has put together and shared their Winter Robin Appeal, which is a bespoke banner, which looks fantastic. And Jane has said she's interested to hear people's views on keeping the same dedication page open all year and changing the look of feel to suit particular times of the year, or the charities create new pages for each seasonal campaign. I'm going to refer that back to Jackie, and perhaps you can share your experiences as an account manager, what your charities do.
And just before I do that, we have got a few questions in the actual Q&A, so I'm just having a look at them as well.
I'll have a look at those.
Yeah, brilliant. So one thing I would say, which I learned with the charities last year, is that the Christmas campaign started really early last year, or so I thought, like August time. And I think the campaigns that did really well were those campaigns that had been really well prepared, thought out. Christmas, we all know, is coming. So, and I know there's quite a few hospices already having Christmas meetings now. And I think if you can get everything aligned, get as much of your internal colleagues on board as well, so they know about what you're doing in the pages, that also is a big plus. That also helps and everything. Last minute pages never seem to do as well as the ones that have been promoted earlier, longer, keep getting shared, really supporting your cause. So I'd always say planning in your strategy that you need to plan it a bit earlier. Don't be frightened to launch Christmas. Now, I think it was St Richard's Hospital. I don't know if they're on this call, but I'm sure they launched their Christmas last year in about October. It was the earliest one, but they did fantastic as well. So, everybody starts talking about Christmas September. So, just go with the flow, I'd say. With regards to the pages themselves, I often refer to them as quick wins for the charity. It's functionality that you've all got access to, so why not use it? It doesn't always have to be about donations, and Young Life versus Cancer are a brilliant example of that. You can use them for all sorts of purposes, but for those much needed one-off donations, really think how you can utilize this functionality. I always say to my partners that I look after, have a memory wall, because sometimes setting up a tribute page isn't for everybody, but giving you that one-off in memoriam donation, but the place where you can still share the story of your loved one and leave a little message and a photo means just as much to an in memoriam donor. So, please think of all the ways that you can really utilize this functionality. It's all available to you. So I'd say get thinking. Is there any other questions?
So, a couple of questions in the Q&A. Are there many cancer charities that use this? Well, we've got one here today that's shared their experience of using it. And yes, we've got a whole selection of different organisations that use the dedication page services. As Becky explained, some of it's for memory walls and some of it's for all kinds of different kind of campaigns. Catherine's asked, how do you encourage people to donate year on year? I'm guessing that's maybe going back to Kelly, because this is a campaign that you run annually.
Yes, yeah, it is. So I think it's back to the marketing, really. And the other thing I sort of didn't mention, but because it was traditionally a manual campaign, the risk of getting people's names wrong was quite high, and we found that the digital transition means that we don't make mistakes anymore, and that lends itself to a nice user service. So it encourages repeat givers. This campaign is unusual for us in that you'll get long-term supporters, but you'll get people that drop in and drop off. So the marketing is really important. You have to keep reminding people, and you have to always think that DM, you can't rely on that DM. You've got to do things new, which is why we're trying to do the sponsored ads now, trying to reach a new type of person.
Excellent, thank you. And a question for Hannah. Ellie said she may have been covered, but she arrived a little bit late. But how do you promote the dedication page to via your internal comms in a hybrid kind of remote working environment?
Yeah, I mean, we take quite an integrated approach to our comms and engagement at Young Life. So around the festive period, we launch, we're talking to the workforce about our external campaigns a lot, and we kind of fit this into that. So part of that campaign, that internal campaign of sharing what we're doing externally, we also include the Secret Santa as part of that. And generally our primary channel is our intranet. So we make sure that it's like slap bang at the front, on the hero page, and we drive engagement to it. Then we usually hold like an all hands event, so we sort of signpost to it in there, and really just sort of that general buzz. Any opportunity we get to point to it, we do. But because it's about the 3rd year running now, it's built its own sort of reputation. So I think people look forward to it, and then they're waiting for it. So generally it's been such a positive initiative that we've run.
Oh, that's fantastic. Another one for Kelly. Do you keep the same Lights of Love dedication, or do you create a new page for each year of the campaign?
So each year has its own campaign, but the branding is kept consistent. And we actually leave the pages, although people can't continue to donate, we leave them live so people can go back and look at them if they want to. Yeah,
perfect. And another question from Amy, what kind of digital rewards work for this type of campaign? You might not have any.
Yeah, no, currently we don't, but this was our first year trialing digital Christmas cards. So next year that's going to be part of our, we're going to, for the people that donate via Much Loved, we're going to try and do a digital Christmas card for those, or a digital personalised card.
Perfect. And then I think there's just one other question. Well, there's a couple of questions, so 2 more questions. Do you add all the names remembered that you receive offline to the dedication page as well, Kelly?
Yes, we did this year. And that, I'll be honest with you, was a purely, how do I explain this? I was having to pull the data to create the boards from 2 different places. So it was much easier actually for me to get a volunteer to add all the names to Much Loved so I could pull them from one place. So actually, Much Loved, you saved me hours of time.
Excellent, that's good to hear. And then Charlotte's asked any tips on getting early traction. So she said that they've asked staff to add dedications to get it going, but sometimes they're super busy and so don't have time. So one of my ideas is to maybe actually highlight a couple of special supporters and invite them to be the first person to add their comment onto the board, because I think it's a blocker, but it's also a really special thing to be able to invite someone to be the first. But I think you have to make the effort to identify who those people could potentially be and then invite them. And I think that's a very honourable thing to be asked to do. So that's maybe another one. I mean, I don't know if Jackie or Kelly or Hannah have got any other ideas about creating more traction at the beginning.
Yeah, we have a regular Lights of Love supporters who donate via direct debit annually. We add all of those on first. I would say that the only downside is that none of those have photographs, and we find that it's the photographs and the messages that engage people and make them go on. So yeah, it's I'd say that is a difficult part anyway.
Sorry, Hannah, you go.
We do seed a couple of messages to begin with, just to warm it up. you know, or invite a couple of people, a bit like you said, Sally, that we know engage well, and they sort of post on it, just so it doesn't look like a blank page, because that can be quite daunting to people as well, just not wanting to be maybe the first. But I think once you pull that thread, then it just runs itself.
Yeah, and that's just literally what I was going to reiterate. It's thinking of all those touch points, and if internally, if you've got any colleagues that might have their own story to share as well, especially if you're in the hospice environment, because sometimes that can help as well, and then it can help them engage even more, internally as well, and maybe share. But it's just thinking of all those sort of touch points where you can engage colleagues, external supporters. You might have some really good, if you're doing a campaign page to support an event, you might have some really good past eventers that could, kick it off. Like, I don't know, if you were doing a walk or something, they could share a photo or say how much fun they'd had, just to get that sort of, the page looking, lovely from the beginning when somebody lands on it. So I think
just one more question's popped in from asking about any GDPR roadblocks with adding past owners to new blank dedication page.
For us, as their regular givers, their preferences are already in place. So we're not adding anybody that hasn't already isn't a paid up supporter, as it were.
right,
Excellent.
I think.
Well, thank you so much, Kelly and Hannah, for your contributions this morning. Yeah, it's just really fantastic to get partners sharing their experience of using our service rather than us just talking about them. It's much better to have real life examples. So actually, and thank you to the audience, because we always really appreciate you being interactive and asking lots of questions. So I really appreciate that, and I'm sure Kelly, Jackie and Hannah do as well. It's much better than presenting to a completely blank screen. So yeah, I just wanted to add, actually, we run these webinars monthly. So if anyone in the audience is thinking, oh, I'd quite like to get up there and share some of my experiences, it might be around tribute pages, it might be around using dedication pages, whatever it is, if you've got anything useful that you think would be helpful to share with our audience, then please do get in touch with us, either myself or Jackie, or just email support@muchlove.com, and we'll make sure we get a copy of a recording of this on the support site, which should be available on at some point early next week for everybody. Well, it's bank holiday, isn't there? So it won't be Monday. Excellent. So yeah, enjoy the sunshine, and thanks again for joining us this morning.
Thank you.